Hey, are you there?
What? What are you doing? You called me.
Let's do this, man. Come on.
Let's do it.
Who? Who said?
Hoosiers! All right. National champions.
Oh my gosh.
16-0. I think the last time they said that was done was
94,
by
if I'm
Yale,
not
of all
right.
places. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, oh my
Amazing.
gosh. Welcome to another episode on Between the Notes podcast, where we have got a proud Indiana University alumni and a proud current Indiana University faculty member. I got to tell you, I don't think I've seen a football game or any game that exciting in quite some time.
Yeah, that was really something.
I can only imagine the vibe in Bloomington right now. I mean, people must be just enjoying the heck out of this win down there.
Yeah, everybody's got a big smile on their face, and even though it's like 22 degrees, we're still like, hey, it was a good one. It was a good one. And I don't know if you guys, I'm sure if anybody is an IU fan, for sure you've seen on social media Kirkwood and all the kind of like streets where just everybody, where all the sports bars are,
down
where
by
people were just,
down by the gates. I mean,
yeah, we're
I
just
remember when I was a
enjoying.
student there, our basketball team went to the Final Four,
Uh-huh.
and then well, shoot, this might have been 2002, I believe, 2001, something like that. I can't remember. And that whole area just exploded. I mean, it was so
Yeah.
electric. But now to win the national championship, I mean, I've seen all kinds of posts on social media where people are just going crazy.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's just like super, super exciting. And I have to say, like when I was in high school, I played sports. I thought it was kind of weird. Or well, not weird. I just was nervous, I guess, joining choir.
Yeah.
As the old tale is told, it was my mother that forced me to join choir when I was in high school.
Right.
We had to have a fine arts credit. And, at the time I was like obsessed with playing football. And then around my sophomore year, a buddy moved or transferred, I guess, in from New Jersey and taught me all about lacrosse. And so then he and I founded the lacrosse team at my high school.
Wow.
And so I was all in on
Sure.
the athletics and sports side of things, and my mom forced me to join choir. And so I was very, very lucky that when I was a freshman, there was a guy by the name of Joe Mattingly. Shout out to Joe Mattingly.
All right.
He was a varsity football player who was also in choir.
Okay.
And
There you go.
I gotta say that experience as a young 14-year-old or whatever I was at the time, it's like it showed me like, yeah, no, it's no big deal. It's no big deal.
It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Athletes can sing it. It doesn't have to be one or the
It can be
other.
both and.
And along the way, I've learned a lot about the coexistence between athletics and singing. Did you ever play any sports?
I played a little bit of sports. I mean, my dad likes sports, and so we did cabbage ball, which is like a New Orleans version of softball, but you don't need a glove.
You just need a head of cabbage. What do you do? What do you
I mean,
do?
the ball is essentially about the size of a head of cabbage, and so
Okay.
it's easy to hit. But yeah, you don't need a glove, and if you get hit, it's not so bad.
Okay.
It's
Well,
not.
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. So we kind of did that, and played some basketball. But yeah, anything that you had to run a lot, sustained running, soccer, basketball, any of that, I just couldn't do it. I never had the aptitude. I'd like cramp up, with my with the breathing, and it was always that. So I did do swimming for a while, but it was kind of the same issue.
Yeah,
You've got to have like the kind of cardio, and of course you build it up, but I just, it just wasn't for me. And then when I found music, it was like, this is where I belong.
You found home.
This is where, this is what my skill set is
Yeah.
inclined towards. But I always enjoyed playing sports. I just kind of wish that I could hang with the rest of the players.
Well, I think, I don't know if it was like my dad's, I don't know. Maybe he certainly enjoyed watching me compete in a variety of different athletics and and win. And like he
Yeah,
was
of
very
course.
he was very big because so I was born without my right hand, and I mean from
Yeah.
the age of 5 I started swimming competitively during
Right.
like the summer league, and
Sure.
I really really enjoyed it, and I I don't know what it was about it that I was just like, and I mean I've been quoted in some interviews and stuff saying that like I'm really um glad that neither of my parents ever pulled me aside and said, no, listen,
Right.
you're not gonna be competitive in this. This is just for
Right.
fun. This is so
Right.
I had no idea. And
Sure.
no coach, no one pulled me aside and said, look, especially in the pool, you don't have another hand. So these guys
Right.
have two hands. They're able to
Right.
pull the water twice as much as you were able to. I had no idea. And I don't know if it was just my naivete or what, but like I never put two and two together. And so in my brain, I'm gonna win. I'm going to win.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I ended up setting pool records, and I ended up doing all kinds of things on the swim team. And it wasn't until I got into like the advanced year-round
Uh-huh.
swim clubs where I
Right.
realized like, oh,
Okay.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of there's some other kids out there that are a lot better than I am, and
Sure.
it's totally fine.
But I mean, how much does that just kind of speak to your tenacity and your and how much confidence that it gave you that you could be like, you know what, just because of your limb difference
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you can't do what you on the regular kick my butt in on PlayStation games like all the time. Like, man, this is tough, right?
man. Well, I will say that,
I
and
even I forget the fact that
well, sure. I will say that, like from the moment, I don't think we had a Pong system, but we certainly had the Atari 2600. We
yeah,
then had the ColecoVision. We then had the Intellivision 1 and the
right,
Intellivision 2, and then
sure,
I didn't really go towards Nintendo. I was about to say Nintendo. I did have a Nintendo 64,
yeah,
but I definitely had a Sega Master System and a Sega
yeah,
Genesis before the
yeah.
Nintendo 64. I
That's
love
awesome,
playing video games. I was a
man.
video game like just obsessed.
Right,
And I still kind of am. I as you are, like
sure,
we love in our downtime, and I think it's kind of mindless, but yet it's also sort of puzzly. I love games
sure,
that require puzzles or
right,
sports games that
yeah,
require skill and like, okay, I'm going to do this
strategy, yeah,
strategy. That's the word
yeah,
I was looking for.
sure,
Um, but yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
I
I
mean,
think it's
I kind of
important
know.
to.
You go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's important to have something completely different than what you do
Yeah,
that allows you to like still utilize your brain and creative skills. I don't know, over the years.
coordination, all these kinds of
Coordination, sure.
things. Like
So my point is having one hand. I just from a very early age, whether it was just the original Atari joystick, where it just had like
hmm
one stick with one button. I used
right,
my arm with the joystick and I used my thumb with the button.
right.
And as the controllers became more complicated, I was like, oh, okay, I can just use this, or I can R2. I can use my knee. I just
That's
figured
amazing.
stuff
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think along the way, that's the same thing that I was doing, whether I was, a defensive lineman trying to figure out how I can easily thwart off an offensive tackle's, attempt to try to block me. Or when I picked up a lacrosse stick for the first time, I was like, okay, I guess my left hand will be on top, my right arm will be on the bottom. I can use it as a fulcrum, catching and throwing. And, it just sort of I figured it. And then
Yeah,
I have to say that like the first time that I actually went out to the links and picked up a golf club. Have you ever played golf?
a little bit. Not. Really.
Let's say
Yeah.
this. Have you played golf enough or hit a golf ball enough to realize that when you try to knock the living crap out of the golf ball, it'll go 2 feet. But yet
Yes.
if it's like slow and easy, steady, that's when
Right.
you hit it the furthest.
Absolutely. I have.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe you can read my mind and tell me where I'm going next with this
Huh?
analogy.
Yeah. 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 I
You ever
think. I think
tried? You
that.
ever tried to hit a high C and sing the shit out of it, and it'd be like, "Mwah."
Yeah.
Not so
Exactly
much.
right. Coordination. I say this to my students, and I know you. I'm sure you do the same thing.
Yeah,
Coordination over strength all
yeah,
the time. It's
all
about
day
the
long.
efficiency, and the kind of again, the right release and balance of the muscles that need the tension and the ones that don't need the tension, and you know, and just trying to make the sound as balanced and beautiful as possible.
Right.
And yeah, so that's yeah. In case anybody was like, why are we just talking about IU and
Sports.
sports? We are tying this in because I think you know, certainly when we were at Westminster, when I was at Westminster doing the Masters of Vocal Pedagogy, we talked about being elite vocal athletes all the time
Yeah.
and using our voices in an athletic way, you know, whether that's about the sheer amount of sound that's coming out or the flexibility and the range and the balance, and there's all these kinds of aspects that tie into the technique. I mean, there's obviously technique in all of these sports, you know, to maximize efficiency and also prevent injury, you know, which is a lot about what we're doing on the voice side of things
There's
as
so
well.
many analogies that
Yeah.
connect highly successful athletes with highly successful artists. And I
Mhm.
think we have the same mindset and the same type of focus, the same type of high level skill set. And you don't just get there by accident, right? I mean, it requires significant hours in the practice room or out on the field. And I think that, you know, as we were talking about this, I just had a great idea for an episode. We should get Raynell on here. Raynell
Yeah,
Krause,
sure.
who, you know, we first caught the attention of when she was doing these videos of her, you know, in the Silks, you know, singing Queen of the
Mhm.
Night upside down. And then
Right.
we had her in
Opus
New Orleans
Opera.
for
Yeah.
Opus Opera for the Mystique performances.
Right.
But talk about a singing athlete. I mean, my gosh, she
Sure.
combines both of them in a way that
At the same time.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, we should talk to her. But
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, I think any of us doing the type of productions well, let me ask you this. What was one of the craziest productions you had to do that combined physical agility with singing? I mean, did you ever have to run around the stage and act crazy and
God. Yes. The things that always killed me were climbing, right? Stairs
yeah,
or
stick 'em.
ladders.
Sure.
Stairs or ladders were just something that like I just didn't feel comfortable with and just comfortable doing, especially and even if it was like, you know, very rarely. I mean, sometimes yes, I had been asked to sing while negotiating steps. In fact, it
Right.
was Guillaume Tell at the Met in a duet with the soprano in the first act. Oh no, sorry, with the baritone in the first act.
Okay.
Where they asked me to walk up steps backwards while singing this just ridiculously difficult page of music. And
Yep.
I kind of sort of did it. Maybe I took 3 or 4 steps, but I didn't actually go up the whole damn thing. But like, yeah, no, all the time I was being asked for. I remember, you know, one of the last shows that I did was Tosca at Covent Garden, and they just had this massive set of the church with stairs and this, and you had to climb up, you know, onto the scaffolding to do the painting of the you
Yeah.
know, everything. It just the Madonna, and just was like, oh my god. Not my finest moments, but I made it.
I
But
remember
again,
doing, yeah,
yeah,
no, I was going to say, I remember doing a production of Rigoletto where the first, like, let's say the duet with Sparafucile that goes into the
right.
Parisiamo was outside the house, right? So it was
Mhm.
down front
Right.
with the set behind me.
Sure.
And then after I finished the Anno e folie,
Right.
right before the duet with Gilda, they wanted me to run off stage left and then go up, you know, to the back of the house, back of the theater, and
Right.
then or stage, backstage, right?
Yeah.
And then go up a flight of stairs and then enter the house and then come downstairs
Come on, guys.
for Filia mio padre. And I
Right,
was just
right.
like, you know, I'm like, I just finished like a duet, a
Right.
huge aria, and then like now I'm like running, and now I've got like, in my opinion, that Act 1 duet with Gilda is
Yeah.
one of the hardest moments in the whole show because of what comes before it,
Sure.
and then what exists within that aria or the
Right.
duet. Sorry, but
Yeah.
oh my god, yeah. There's a lot of. I mean, it stands to say, keeping up on your cardio, keeping up on the
Yes.
fitness, as Fergalicious says, in the gym is a incredibly important
Oh my
ingredient
gosh. Yeah,
to
absolutely.
singing well, I think. And
Yeah, I've said it before, but just in case that somebody missed that episode, one of the other ones is, remember when I was telling you about that Rigoletto that I did in Berlin, where the whole that whole thing, that you're talking about just now with Jill and stuff.
yeah,
She's up in a cage. She's in a bird
yeah,
cage
yeah. You mentioned
essentially,
that.
and then I
Yeah.
had to climb down into the cage,
Oh my
and like it
God.
was maybe 6 feet wide by about 4 feet deep. Not the skinniest tenor out
You
there.
get you get two people in there, and all of a
I
sudden
mean,
you're like,
the Jilda was slight,
hmm.
but I was not, So
Right,
it was
right,
like, it
right,
was
right.
really kind of tricky, but like, again, climbing down into that and then climbing out of it was like, whew, yeah, this is not for me. This
People
is
have
not for
ideas that probably sound great on paper,
me.
and
Yeah.
then you start physicalizing it, and you're like,
Yeah. Well,
how are we gonna make this work?
yeah, I'm sure it looked cool from the house, and I'm sure there was a lot,
Oh
but
yeah,
just you gotta get somebody else.
yeah.
That's not that's it's not me. It's not me.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it just it draws in so much. Again, I can't stop thinking about the golf analogies. So it's not
Sure.
only like you swing the club and to hit the ball, but it's like breathing, right? Like
Mm,
if you whether you're swinging a golf club or singing a note, if you hold your breath, right? If you and then you
right.
try to sing, right? Or if you're about to hit the ball and you go, and it's like
Right.
there's so much study that has been done on exhaling through the
Right.
swing, right? Or even if you're
Right.
like lifting weights, it's so important to
Sure.
not hold your breath, but rather breathe through,
Right.
and in fact exhale through the resistance part of the, whether it's a lift or a press or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a couple of my students here at IU that are pretty big into sports, and one of them is a pretty he's in good shape to say the least. He just
Sure.
actually had a lesson right before here, and I was like, "Listen, Dong Hao, when you're doing it," because he asked me, what do I think about lifting weights and stuff like this, and it's very clear that he lifts a lot of weight.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
not just. And I was like, "Listen, when you do this, I want to make sure that you're not going." There's no
Right. There's
strain
no
on your
strain.
chords and your glottis. If anything, it's going to be more like that kind of resistance on your lips, at your lips, like a trumpet player would do or something, so that you don't, kind of use that
Well, it's a great way to
block of the glottis.
strain
Yeah.
a variety of different things. I mean,
Oh
I
gosh.
think I
Yeah.
would even go one step further to,
Yeah.
I mean, like a solid exhale as like if you're doing bench press, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As you're
Yeah.
pressing the weights away from the body. I
Yeah.
mean, I just feel like anything that's going to create that subglottic pressure, and then depending on how much weight you're lifting, right? If the glottis is completely closed and all that pressure is building, then all of a sudden the face turns red, and
Right.
you start, it's a recipe for a number of good things. I mean, number of bad
Bad
things to happen,
and good
not
things
good
to go
things.
wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we certainly don't want that. But
Yeah.
again on the golf course, so much strategy about planning ahead, right? I mean, thankfully in that sport, as you um, approach the ball, whether it's on a cart or walking, you have
Hmm.
time to sort of check out your surroundings and look to see what the ball's lie looks like, and maybe what club you're going to use based on the distance to the hole. Um, Speaking of video games, that makes me
I
think of
just
you
thought
and
of the
me
same thing, right?
and Jake, the three of us playing PGA 23 on PS5, right? It's
Oh my
like,
gosh, it's super
I
fun.
mean, it's so relaxing, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
and I think it's such a calm pace. I mean, whether you're out physically in nature or playing on the game, but like, it's there's again, you know, it happens a lot quicker in singing.
Right.
But I think that you do need to think ahead, and you do need to be aware of, oh, okay, here comes this phrase, which is quite long, so I need to take a larger
Right.
breath. Here's the phrase that ends up ascending into the higher range. I need to make sure that I speed up the air. Thinking
Hmm.
ahead and planning ahead and making sure that you have those sort of GPS moments in your mind of like, oh, I use that analogy all the time in my own teaching, where it's like, you're going, straight, and you're going to turn. I know I'm going to turn left at the light, right? So I need to get
Hmm.
over. I need to slow down. I need to put on my blinker. All of these things that you need to do in order to make sure that it's a safe left-hand turn. Same
Right.
thing when you're singing, right? It's like
Sure.
whatever the phrase coming up may be, or however the recit starts, or however the aria ends, whatever it may
Hmm.
be that you're trying to accomplish, you're thinking ahead and taking the type of breath and the calmness within you, and creating the right type of space or the right type of energy. I mean, all of these things are so incredibly important as you approach whatever it is that's coming next. And I think, um, while we always encourage spontaneity and to be present in the moment, I think it's a combination of that and thinking ahead, right? Don't worry so
Yeah.
much about what you've just done, but always look
Right.
forward and
Sure.
stay in the moment to create that similarity of what the audience is experiencing, right? Because that's
Yeah.
how the audience experiences music, is listening to it in the moment. And so if we're too caught up on, thinking too technically, or caught up on what just happened, we're doing them a disservice, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love that we got on the driving thing, and I use a lot of driving analogies and car analogies in singing and stuff. But I used to think that an aria or a duet or whatever was kind of like a racetrack. Like played a lot of Gran Turismo, and I loved
sure.
playing that game. And so it's like, okay, there's this point right here where it's a really sharp turn, or this kind of thing. And that would be either the turn over through the passaggio, or how this next part's going to. And again, you in these driving games, you want to be as fluid and smooth and efficient as possible. And it's
Right.
very exactly the same way, I would say,
In singing. Yeah.
in singing, that you want to make sure your vowels are lined up, and that that the air kind of flows through as tall and gathered in certain places, and just really, like you were saying about the speed of the air going over the passaggio and things like this. There's all kinds of different ways, and then it becomes a muscle memory thing, so that when you are on stage, you are in fact playing and portraying the character in the moment, while you're still kind of keeping in the back of your mind all that kind of stuff. But I think we've all seen singers where you're like, oh, they're thinking about their voice right now, because their
Sure. It's
face
like their
shows
face just goes like,
nothing.
it's an interesting question, right? It's like,
Yeah.
how often, let's say on any given page of music, how often are you thinking about technique? How often are you thinking about the technical aspect of
Sure.
singing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the actual page you're looking at, but
Sure. Some pages are certainly technically more challenging than
sure.
others. I think it
Yeah.
was Mark Oswald that, on his website, he had like
Hmm.
a whole diatribe of like his technical philosophy and approach
Right.
to singing. And I think he said something like 3 or 4 times per page. And I thought,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
that's
mean,
about
whether
right.
it's just like, hey, release the breath. I mean, anytime you take a breath in singing, it gives you an opportunity to reset, right?
Yeah,
Like if you find
absolutely.
that your breath accidentally gets a little high, or that you feel like, what is going on with my larynx? Why is it
Right.
so, anytime that you have a breath between phrases is an opportunity to completely reset. And
For
I
sure.
think, I think that so often young singers, once you start going down a slope of like, it's like on a ski
Right.
slope, and you go down the black diamond, and you intended to go down the blue,
Bunny.
rectangle, or the bunny hill, the green one.
Right.
You, you think that you're just like, all hope is lost. And that's not necessarily true in singing. Like I said, every time you have a moment to breathe, it's a moment to reset physically and mentally. And
Absolutely.
keep your whereabouts about you, and
Mhm.
make sure that what is to come can be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love this. I love that we've been able to celebrate the Hoosiers and all this, and also kind of bring in to the voice studio some of this discipline. I would say discipline
Tell you
and
what, I think every voice studio could use some Kurt Signetti in their lives.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, oh my gosh.
I kind of, you even seen those little bobbleheads going around on social media? I kind of want to get one and put him up in the
Put them in the
corner of
window,
my,
yeah.
and so that people, I could be like, have you learned your music? And they're gonna be like, I'm gonna point over to Kurt and be like, what do
Yeah,
you think
right.
he would say?
Yeah.
What do you think he would say? In fact, I'm gonna go buy that right now.
I, that's a great plan. But in all honesty, I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about the level of discipline, the level of accuracy in which, you know, in order for a play to go right,
Sure.
it's like everybody has to be doing their job at the same time to make everything work really well.
Yeah.
And certainly for a football team to go undefeated,
Mm,
it's unreal. I mean, it's
yeah.
truly unbelievable. That's why it hasn't happened since 1894.
Sure.
Um, it's such, my hat goes off. I mean, it doesn't even begin to explain it, but I mean, like, what an incredible accomplishment.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what's interesting is I think the only time that a basketball team has gone undefeated was with Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers, 32-0. I want to say in the 80s, 80,
Mm-hmm.
86, maybe it was like 50 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what or no, that wouldn't have been 50. How many, well, let's just say this.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It was in the 80s. I have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure they went 32-0 and were national champions that year. That might have
Amazing.
been what inspired the movie Hoosiers,
Yeah.
with Gene Hackman.
Right.
Anyway, bringing that kind of discipline and work ethic into the
Voice studio.
voice studio, trumpet
Yeah.
studio, whatever
Yeah.
instrument, whatever discipline that you're talking about, I think we can all take a page out of their playbook and get to work. So I think I'm gonna probably go practice now.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. And be sure to tell your friends and like and subscribe. And we will see you next time.
See you then.
Thanks for joining us on Between the Notes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And join us next week for more behind the scenes stories, laughs, and operatic gold coming your way.